Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Just give me a thumbs up if you're present in the session. Okay, Rushi and another I've got. Okay, Shreya. So, okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'll be taking the weekly current affairs for security, society, and ethics. This lecture has been previously taken by Drishti ma'am for the past few months. Today it will be taken by me, and from next week she'll be back again. So, first of all, we are celebrating the National Doctors Day today, that is July 1. So, a very happy National Doctors Day to all of you. Can you tell me that why do we celebrate National Doctors Day today only? Why on July 1? Anyone, quickly. Just type in the comment section and then we'll move ahead. So, we are celebrating the contribution of all the doctors involved in the pandemic who work day and night to serve the country, and this day has been celebrated for the past many decades as National Doctors Day. So, moving on, see, it's the birth as well as the death anniversary of a very famous personality, Dr. Bidhan Chandra Roy. He was a physician and educationist, social service worker, and he was the chief minister of West Bengal for around 16 years. And he was also the personal physician of our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. तो इनकी बर्थ और डेथ एनिवर्सरी 1 जुलाई को होती है, इसीलिए हम लोग डॉक्टर्स डे मनाते हैं. इनके नाम पर डॉक्टर्स के लिए एक बहुत अच्छा अवार्ड भी इंस्टीट्यूटेड है. इट वाज अ वेरी प्रेस्टिजियस अवार्ड हैज़ बीन इंस्टीट्यूटेड इन द नेम ऑफ हिज नेम, BC रॉय नेशनल अवार्ड इसका नाम है, फॉर एमिनेंट पर्सन्स वर्किंग इन द एरियाज ऑफ मेडिसिन, साइंस, public affairs, philosophy, arts and literature. So remember this, use this in your answers or in your interview wherever this information is found necessary. So moving on, as you know कि हमने इस initiative को, we have linked this initiative with Seize the Mains answer writing initiative. So I will be discussing a topic here. The entire topic will be discussed in detail, and उससे related question, this has been uploaded on our website also. The link is there in the description. It is the question is there on our website. So after studying the topic, after this lecture ends, go back to the website, write your answer with respect to this question and get it evaluated by our experts entirely free of cost. And the discussion for this question कि इसको answer कैसे करना है, it will be held at 9 PM on Monday on our YouTube channel. So, comment on the human trafficking situation in India, give solutions to tackle this problem. See, July 30th को we are celebrating the International Day to fight against human trafficking, July 30th ko. So this month is all about human trafficking. So this question has been taken today itself कि इसके बाद जो भी news या updates United Nations की तरफ से या Indian government की तरफ से आएगा, वो आप अपने notes में compile कर सकते हैं, and you can understand the situation, this topic holistically. Answer in 250 words and submit your answers on our website. The link in the description will take you there. So the index for today, first of all, human trafficking का question है, so human trafficking will be discussed in detail. Secondly, guidelines to regulate child participation in the entertainment industry. Yesterday Snigdha ma'am took in detail child labor in India. Child labor का क्या status है India और world में. Today we are discussing two topics. One is from human trafficking, the other is guidelines to regulate child participation in the entertainment industry. So let's move on. Why was this in news? See, National Commission of Women है इंडिया में. This commission works for the right of women and children. औरतों और बच्चों के rights को secure करने के लिए NCW काम करती है under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. So this was a news in PIB on 25th June 2022. What they said was कि नेशनल कमीशन फॉर विमेन ने एक सेमिनार ऑर्गेनाइज किया बहुत ही बड़े लेवल पर. दे ऑर्गेनाइज्ड अ सेमिनार ऑन एंटी ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग अवेयरनेस. ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग का एक्सटेंट क्या है इंडिया में, ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग है क्या, कौन सी इंडस्ट्रीज में ह्यूमन बींग्स को ट्रैफिक करके भेजा जाता है, कहाँ भेजा जाता है, एंड व्हाई इज इट बीइंग हेल्ड. सो वील कवर ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ दिस टॉपिक. Now moving on, first of all let's start with the definition of human trafficking. अगर आपको question आता है human trafficking से related, first of all you should be clear about definitions of these very basic terms. So the best way to find out definitions is या तो आप NCW की या Ministry of Women and Child Development की website पे जाइए, or the second thing you can do is United Nations is always fighting against these problems. So if you go to the website of United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, this is exactly the website, इनका home page है. If you go there and if you check the topics, ये जो commission है, ये जो office है, ये कौन से menaces को fight कर रहा है, you'll see border management, corruption, crime prevention and criminal justice, cyber crime, drug prevention, treatment and care, drug trafficking, and here you will find human trafficking and migrant smuggling. Migrants को भी किडनैप करके स्मगल किया जाता है एंड दे आर पुट इनटू वेरियस ऑक्यूपेशंस, या ऐसे ऐसे काम उनसे करवाए जाते हैं जो किसी भी नॉर्मल ह्यूमन बीइंग को करने पसंद नहीं होंगे. So United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, this office gives the definition of human trafficking. What this definition is, they say the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring or receipt of people through force, fraud or deception with the aim of exploiting them for profit. किसी भी इंसान को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह लेकर जाना, ट्रांसपोर्ट करना, किडनैप कर लेना, उनको धोखा देकर, उनको लाया किसी और चीज के लिए गया था, फॉर एग्जाम्पल promising employment to somebody and sending them for pornography or using them as using them in prostitution or child labor, or bringing somebody for education and employment and putting and using their organs, selling their organs. So that all comes under the definition of human trafficking. एंड इसमें इन्वॉल्व क्या है, जो अर्लियर जो इंडिया में जो एक्ट था ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग का, उसमें विमेन एंड चिल्ड्रन को ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग के अंडर कंसिडर किया जाता था, बट जो इस ऑफिस की डेफिनेशन है, इट इंक्लूड्स एवरीबडी, मेन, विमेन एंड चिल्ड्रन ऑफ ऑल एजेस, किसी भी एज के, किसी भी जेंडर के, मेन, विमेन, चिल्ड्रन, इनफैक्ट ट्रांसजेंडर्स ऑल्सो दे आर इंक्लूडेड, and all regions of the world are covered under this definition. So they say that the traffickers often use violence or fraudulent employment agencies and fake promises of education and job opportunities to trick and coerce their victims. जिन countries में poverty ज़्यादा होती है, जिन countries में political instability होती है, वहाँ की जो जनता होती है, the common people of that country are looking for a peaceful life, educational opportunities, job opportunities, एक शांति भरी जिंदगी के लिए वो लोग ऐसे लोगों के, ऐसे पावरफुल लोगों के बहकावे में आ जाते हैं और उन्हें लगता है कि हमें किसी दूसरे देश में नौकरी दे दी जाएगी, बट ऐसा होता नहीं. इनफैक्ट दीज पीपल आर ट्रैफिक्ड एंड दे आर यूज्ड लाइक ऑब्जेक्ट्स, दे आर परचेज्ड एंड सोल्ड लाइक ऑब्जेक्ट्स. सो दैट इज द एक्सटेंट. It has been reported कि जो human trafficking है, it is the second largest organized crime in India. So this is a very great extent. बहुत ही बड़ा crime है. Data with regards to this कि कितने लोग human trafficking के शिकार हैं, how many people are involved in this, ऐसी चीज़ों का, ऐसे crimes का जो exact data होता है, that is never clear. What happens is कोई ना कोई एनजीओ होता है या एजेंसी होती है जो सर्वे कैरी आउट कर लेते हैं, या जो थोड़े बहुत केसेस रिपोर्ट होते हैं, द वेरी फ्यू नंबर ऑफ केसेस विच आर रिपोर्टेड, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट वी मेक एन एस्टिमेट दैट दिस इज द ट्रेंड or this is the severity of human trafficking in India. But still there are some agencies, for example there is a report by Free a Girl Foundation, then there is a study by Reuters, then there is a study by Legal Services in India. They say every 4 girls, हर एक घंटे में 4 लड़कियां प्रोस्टिट्यूशन में एंटर हो रही हैं, एंड उनमें से 3 लड़कियां, 3 out of 4 who are entering into prostitution every hour are entering against their will. So that is बहुत ही चौंका देने वाला डेटा है ये. The next one is the data by Kailash Satyarthi Foundation. The data says कि 21% of families in India will give up on their children for child labor. वो इतनी ज़्यादा poverty में रह रहे हैं that they'll send their children anywhere to get a job. So this is the extent, this is the broad data that we've collected. The next one is a news report. It says जो ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग है कोविड-19 पैंडेमिक के दौरान और उसके बाद बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गई. ड्यूरिंग द कोविड-19 पैंडेमिक एंड आफ्टर दैट ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग हैज सीन अ स्पाइक बिकॉज लॉकडाउन्स की वजह से देयर वाज लॉट ऑफ अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, पीपल लॉस्ट देयर जॉब्स, पीपल लॉस्ट बिजनेसेस, सो पुअर फैमिलीज और फैमिलीज इन नीड हैव बीन vulnerable to trafficking. Trafficking has increased in the country. Also, इसके बाद there is a very important report which is carried out. हर साल एक report आती है United States का जो State Department of State है, that releases a report every year. United States Department of State ranks the countries. हर country को rank किया जाता है कि यहाँ पर human trafficking कितनी है and what are the efforts being taken by the governments with regards to human trafficking. So according to this report of 2021, that is the latest data we have available, it ranks India as a tier 2 country. What are tier 2 countries? Tier 2 countries वो होती हैं जिनमें human trafficking की वजह से exploitation तो बहुत ज़्यादा है, but the government is making some efforts. Data is not available कि कितने लोग हैं, कितने लोग involved हैं, कितने लोग vulnerable हैं, that data is not available. How much crime is reported, that data is also not available, but the country is still making some efforts to eradicate this problem. So countries kept in tier 2 are those whose governments do not fully meet the minimum standards but are making significant efforts to bring themselves into compliance with those standards. So this is all you have to remember. These are the reports and data points that you can quote in your answers for mains. Now let's see, even after all the efforts that have been carried out by various governments and various agencies, United Nations itself, what is the, in spite of the many laws present in India, human trafficking remains an issue that has not been solved till date. So here we'll see some data. This data comes from 2020. ये state wise data है. Let's focus on this. Maharashtra में, this is only the data that has been reported. कितने cases report हुए हैं, जो नहीं हुए होंगे उसका तो हम अंदाजा भी नहीं लगा सकते हैं. So in Maharashtra, 154 cases were reported and this was the highest in India. In all the states in India, Maharashtra has had the highest cases of human trafficking. What can be the factors? The state is big, the entertainment industry is very big there, prostitution is highly rampant, especially जब coast line के साथ आपकी boundary होती है, sea के साथ जब boundary होती है, then it becomes very easy to smuggle people across boundaries. Then we have Telangana, which reported around 104 cases. Then comes Assam in the northeast. Then we have Jharkhand, Odisha, Kerala, Delhi. So poverty, lack of awareness, high population, lack of development, all factors go behind human trafficking inside the country. So, for example, in Kerala, Kerala is one of the most educated states of India, but still human trafficking in Kerala is very high. So moving on, let's talk about what are the rules and regulations in India जो human trafficking को रोकने के लिए काम आते हैं. But let me know everything is clear till this point or not. Just give me a thumbs up in the comment section. Yes, Sandeep, you will get the PDF. The PDF will be available on our Telegram channel in the next 24 hours or less. So just give me a thumbs up if everything is clear and we can move ahead. Any questions till now? Yes, Navi, Bittu, A series, great. So what are the legislations that prohibit human trafficking in India? The first legislation is in the fundamental rights itself. Article 23 part 1 of the Constitution directly mentions the word trafficking. Article 23 of the Constitution prohibits trafficking in human beings and it also prohibits forced labor. आप forcefully किसी को labor के लिए compulsion नहीं दे सकते. it has to be out of his or her own will. So human trafficking is banned by Article 23 Part 1 of the Constitution, and there are some other acts. The Immoral Traffic Prevention Act of 1956, it penalizes trafficking for commercial sexual exploitation. There are sections in the IPC also, Indian Penal Code also, जो कि punishment impose करते हैं जो लोग trafficking carry out करते हैं. Factories Act also, it also Factories Act भी rights of workers के लिए provisions देता है. You cannot force people into that. Apart from that, bonded labor is banned in India through Bonded Labor System Abolition Act of 1976. Child labor is banned in India. Child Labor Prohibition and Abolition Act, latest one, not the 1986 one, but the latest one, and the Juvenile Justice Act. And what are the international conventions and protocols and campaigns? We saw UNODC की जो definition थी human trafficking की, so it is obviously fighting against human trafficking. Apart from that, there is a Palermo Protocol. Remember this word? This establishes it is basically Palermo Convention क्या है? Countries के लिए guidelines हैं to fight human trafficking in their own countries. इसी के basis पर on the lines of this convention, on the lines of these rules, जो हमने data देखा था, that India has been placed in tier 2 of the United States Department of State. इनकी जो report आती है हर साल against anti-trafficking और human trafficking पर, so it is based on the conventions of Palermo Convention. उन rules को देखते हुए they check that which country is abiding by the rules, which country is making efforts to fight this trafficking in their country. So now in 2018 anti-trafficking bill propose किया गया था लोकसभा में. It was decided कि जो 1956 का एक्ट है जो ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग को बैन करता है एंड penal provisions है 1956 के एक्ट में, it was decided that let's revise this, and a bill was presented in the Lok Sabha in 2018 and it was passed in the Lok Sabha, but Lok Sabha dissolve हो गई, उसके बाद elections were held, so the bill lapsed. If you've studied polity, you know that if Lok Sabha is dissolved, elections are held, तो bill lapse हो जाता है, चाहे लोक सभा में पास भी हो गया हो. So again, a new bill was introduced in 2021 around December, and we'll study what are the provisions of that bill. If that bill is passed in both the houses and received the assent of president, then it will become an act soon. But before that, let's study what are the provisions of that bill, because human trafficking is highly rampant in India. So first of all, what it does is कि citizens चाहे इंडिया में हो या किसी और कंट्री में, whether the citizens are in India or in some other country, the provisions of the new bill extend to both of them. So it extends to citizens inside as well as outside India. अगर किसी ship के through, if a ship has been registered in India, an aircraft has been registered in India and they've carried people abroad, even then these provisions will be applied. If a foreign national या stateless person, for example, there is a migrant in the country who is a resident of India, not necessarily a citizen, but she is staying in India, तो उसको भी ये rights दिए जाएंगे, उसके लिए भी provisions applicable होंगे. The government will ensure those rights for anti-trafficking for that person also. It will apply to every offence of trafficking in persons with cross-border implications. So that does not happen if they cross the Nepal border or Pakistan border, then it is not the responsibility of the government. It is the responsibility of the government, and the provisions of this bill, when it becomes an act, will protect the rights of these people. What are the victims covered? See, unlike earlier which covered women and children, this also includes transgenders and all types of people. All genders of people will be done with. And the second one was that earlier trafficking माना जाता था that if a person has been taken from one place to another. अगर if a person is smuggled from Delhi and been taken to Mumbai or some other place, only then the provisions of that act would be applicable. But now इस bill के आने के बाद any person who has not been transported, transportation नहीं हुआ है, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह नहीं भी लेकर गए हैं, still the rights will be protected under this act. It does away with the provision that a victim necessarily needs to be transported from one place to another to be defined as a victim. So it also defines exploitation broadly. Exploitation को define कर दिया. What does exploitation mean for a child, for a female, for a male, things like that. Forced labor has been included. services and bonded labor, things like that have been included. Government offenders. Earlier, we did not have a specific provision. For example, somebody serving in the defense forces or is a government officer retired from some central government, state government services. So these people were not classified as offenders, but now there is a chapter, there is a separate chapter that offenders will also include defense personnel and government servants. In fact, doctors also, doctors and paramedical staff और anyone in a position of authority, किसी भी position of authority पे कोई भी इंसान है, if he is involved in trafficking, she is involved in trafficking, especially doctors and paramedical staff, so they will be penalized under the provisions of this bill or when it becomes an act. What is the penalty? The penalty is 7 years basically, but if trafficking of one child takes place, then it is 10 years and a fine of 5 lakhs. And if trafficking of 2 children, more than one child takes place, if trafficking of 2 or more children takes place, then life imprisonment is the penalty. And similarity is there to Money Laundering Act. अगर किसी भी इंसान की या बच्चे की ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग कैरी आउट करने के बाद किसी भी तरीके से उनके थ्रू पैसा कमाया गया है by putting them into slavery, bonded labor, begging, prostitution, pornography, किसी भी तरीके से उनकी सर्विसेज इस्तेमाल करके पैसे कमाए गए हैं, तो वो सारे पैसे और प्रॉपर्टी, all the money and property that has been earned from carrying out human trafficking, putting these people into any forced services, will be forfeited. So these provisions are similar to Money Laundering Act that is already present. And investigation agency is a very strong agency of India, NIA. NIA has been given the responsibility and the charge for investigation, and there will also be a national anti-human trafficking committee. National level पर एक anti-human trafficking committee constitute की जाएगी. हर ministry से representation होगी. There would be representatives from all the ministries so that coordination, effective coordination takes place. Then at the state level also we'll have such committees. Then we'll have them at the district level and then at the local level. So all types of governments will be included through these committees. So what is the significance? Transgender community is very happy with this because any other because उनको inclusion मिल गया, they have been included. And also cases such as forced labor in which people lured with jobs end up in other countries. कितनी बार ऐसे reports आती थी कि जॉब देने के लालच में लोगों को दूसरी अरब एमिरेट्स ले जाते हैं या अरेबियन कंट्रीज में ले जाते हैं और वहाँ पर उनके पासपोर्ट्स ले लिए जाते हैं. पासपोर्ट्स आर टेकन अवे बाय luring them with good jobs in some other countries but they are put into forced labor. So उस काम के लिए भी ये चीज़ें, ये जो बिल है, it will fight against those problems also. It will, those issues will also be covered under this particular bill. Obviously here, if an act is coming, अगर एक bill introduce किया गया है parliament में, so there were many representatives from the women, from the transgender community and people protecting rights of children जिनको इस bill में थोड़े से loopholes लगे थे, so you can study that also. But for now, what are the solutions to fight human trafficking? Broad solutions क्या हैं? In the long run, what are the solutions that we have? So first of all is generating awareness. Just like we are discussing right now that human trafficking का extent कितना ज़्यादा है इंडिया में, everybody needs to sit down and discuss whether if you see a beggar on the road, whether he is doing it out of his own will, she is doing out of his own will, or she has been forced into it. So report such cases to the nearby security agencies, whatever you can. This awareness can go a long way in decreasing the number of people who get trafficked on a daily basis. Then the role of civil society. See, governments have a lot of paperwork also, a lot of responsibilities also, but civil society, NGOs who are working, NGOs and associations, उनमें motivation भी ज़्यादा होता है and they have the requisite human resources also. They know problem कहाँ पर है और कहाँ पर हमें act करना है. So working together with civil society and strengthening the role of civil society in fighting human trafficking, this will go a long way. And the focus should be on prevention at source. Kidnapping, trafficking, इस चीज़ को source पर ही रोकना होगा जहाँ से लोगों को उठाया जाता है. Find the red pockets in the country. कहाँ पर trafficking सबसे ज़्यादा carry out की जाती है, कहाँ पर kidnapping सबसे ज़्यादा होती है. who are the people who are most vulnerable to issues like this. So if it is stopped at source, then it is possible to stop it. Otherwise, relocating people, just like I gave you an example, if some person has been taken from Delhi to Mumbai, both are such big cities, तो आप कैसे locate करेंगे, कैसे rehabilitate करेंगे, and the conditions that people are, the conditions that people are put into, how will you rehabilitate such a person? So the first thing should be, focus should be on prevention at source. This can happen by better intelligence, by involving civil society and better awareness generation. Now the news was that National Commission for Women has set up a anti-trafficking cell. So these cells should be set up by State Commission for Women also, and handling should happen at a very dynamic pace. Active handling should happen. So creating a synergy between all the enforcement agencies, चाहे आपकी national state level police है, district police है, if some NGO is involved, if some other agency is involved, panchayat level, and the youth of a particular area. Youth are very much against these activities and they are very actively involved in fighting with such activities. So synergy between all the agencies, all the enforcement agencies and all the people fighting against this is required. Then recently a minister gave this 4 P's, and you can quote this in your exam also, 4 P's for combating human trafficking. First is prevention, we talked about prevention. The second is protection. The third is prosecution. If the bill that has been introduced in the parliament, it turns into an act, the prosecution will become easier. And then last one is the participation of common people, participation of youth, participation of people like you and me in fighting against this menace. So, and also the role of criminal justice system and social justice system. What is the social justice system in the country? Let me know in the comment section below. Next, the point comes that trafficking is basically exploitation of vulnerability. So, identify which people are vulnerable, कौन से ऐसे areas हैं जहाँ पे poverty ज़्यादा है, जहाँ पे domestic violence बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, जहाँ पे unemployment बहुत ज़्यादा है. So, lift up those people, uplift those people, tell them about the policies and schemes of the government, about distributing rations, giving them insurance benefits, pension benefits. So, that ways, by reducing their vulnerability, this issue can be solved. And also the final step is reintegration. जिन लोगों को आपने निकाल लिया है, rehabilitate कर लिया है, how do you put them back into the society? Most of the times what happens is some NGO or a state government or district government वो एक हॉल बना देते हैं और वहाँ पर स्टिचिंग सिखा देते हैं लड़कियों को, और children are taught some basic skills. Everybody does not want to learn those skills. They want to be rehabilitated. So counseling services have to be very active and rehabilitation पर focus ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. Only then other people can be motivated to actually start a normal life again. A public-private partnership. Public-private partnership क्या होता है? The private sector is involved and the government should be involved. So government should sign contracts, some new contracts with private agencies who can actually rehabilitate these people, skills provide कर सकते हैं ताकि वापस ये उतने vulnerable ना हो and they can get a better life and new jobs to sustain their livelihood. So these were the solutions. Before moving on to the next topic, just give me a thumbs up if you have understood this, or if you have any question with regards to this topic, just let me know in the comment section. Okay, Navi. Rushi, yes. Any doubts, any questions? Or just give me a thumbs up, all the people viewing this, watching this video, watching this in the live stream. Just give me a thumbs up and then we'll move ahead. Yes, Nandini? Yes, Bhavna. Shreya. Okay, so we'll move ahead now. So the next news was कि कुछ in entertainment industry, if you've been watching movies, serials or any series on OTT platforms, Netflix, Amazon वगैरह पर आप कुछ भी देखते हैं, you might have seen that a lot of children are involved. चाइल्ड का रोल करने के लिए तो बच्चे को ही लाएंगे. सो इनके जो राइट्स थे बच्चों के, दे वर नॉट प्रोटेक्टेड और secured for a very long time. Now, the government has come out with some guidelines to regulate participation of children in the entertainment industry. So this is the, this was from the Facebook handle of Ministry of Women and Child Development. So these were few of the popular kids who have been involved in the entertainment industry. And Kannu does ask a question that political support can be there in trafficking. Depends on the politician. See, in Seize the Mains also, we discussed a topic about criminalization of politics. So, what is the extent of criminalization in politics? कैसे type के crimes commit किए हैं उन politicians में who are sitting as MLAs or MPs? So, some people can be involved and while others might not be involved at all. So, political support can be there. But you cannot use this term in your answer because not all politicians are corrupt or not all of them are involved in trafficking. Only a minuscule percentage might be involved or would have been involved in the past. So that is very much true, but from a mains point of view, don't use that term generally or as a point. One of the reasons, one of the biggest reasons नहीं है. Or it is one of the it is not one of the established reasons. Reports में नहीं है. So now talking about coming back to this, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights on 25th June came out with guidelines in the entertainment industry. आप देख लीजिए what are these guidelines for? If you have any state civil services exam coming or for UPSC prelims next year, you can be asked options that what are the industries that these regulations cover. So their participation in films, TV, reality shows are also covered. Any reality show related to dance or singing for kids. OTT platforms, news and content creation for social media websites, whatever, for example, a YouTuber. कोई भी YouTube पर अगर बच्चों की videos आ रही हैं, so these guidelines, these rules will cover all those children. So the rules have been, draft rules and they are very stringent. So first of all, let's begin by studying what are the constitutional provisions क्या हैं, what are the constitutional provisions which protect the rights of children. The first one is right to life, Article 21. It protects the right to live with dignity for all the people of the country. So every child has the right to live with dignity. The right to personal liberty, Article 21, and the right to privacy also is covered under Article 21 itself. And the right to equality, right against discrimination, 15, the right against exploitation, Article 23 and 24. Apart from that, बच्चों की एजुकेशन सिक्योर करने के लिए वी हैव RTE Act of 2002. So right to free and compulsory elementary education for all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. So Article 21A covers that. Just note down these constitutional provisions for your mains answers or for your prelims exam. कि पूछ लिया जाता है कि child rights कौन कौन से areas में covered हो सकते हैं. So all these will be there. Then we have the directive principles of state policy which are responsibilities of the state in the long run. So Article 39F जो है, it casts an obligation on state. Government की responsibility है to ensure that children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in a healthy manner and conditions of freedom and dignity, and that childhood and youth, both childhood and youth, are protected against exploitation and against moral and material abandonment. तो कोई भी एक्टिविटीज जो उनके मॉरल डेवलपमेंट को या मटेरियल डेवलपमेंट को रोक सकती है या उनको एक्सप्लॉयटेशन के लिए वल्नरेबल कर सकती है, उन एक्टिविटीज को रोकना गवर्नमेंट की जिम्मेदारी है. इट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द स्टेट अंडर आर्टिकल 39F. So these guidelines have come out. Let's broadly look at what these guidelines are. First of all, these guidelines have been brought up by NCPCR, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. These are the draft guidelines, but they will very much become an act very soon and they will be established very much. So purpose we have understood. What is the purpose? To ensure a healthy work environment जो कि उनको physical या mental stress ना दे उन बच्चों को. It keeps them stress free. What are the coverage? Coverage also we have done in the previous slide. Now key provisions of the guidelines. Who will be held accountable? So the first accountability about a child that can go to his parents या guardian. So parents have been held accountable, or the guardian associated with the child, they have been held accountable. And जो director या producer है, for the producer of a particular TV series or an OTT series या किसी film का, so they also have been held accountable. But the first accountability lies with the parents, because they are ultimately getting money out of that. So they say that कोई भी अगर बच्चा shooting में involved है, one parent has to accompany that child and if that child is an infant, if he is a baby, she is a baby, तो एक parent या guardian के साथ एक authorized nurse भी आएगी, एक registered nurse would also be there accompanying that baby. Then there is a focus on child education. The producer has to ensure कि वो जो बच्चे हैं उनकी education में कोई दिक्कत ना आए. They have to be provided enough leave and timings have to be in such a way that their education does not suffer. Also, we have the midday meal scheme running for children in schools so that they get adequate and nutritious food. This has to be provided by the producer himself कि ड्रिंकिंग वाटर एंड न्यूट्रिशियस फूड की फैसिलिटीज स्टूडियो में ही अवेलेबल हो और या शूटिंग साइट पर ही अवेलेबल हो. एडिक्वेट एंड न्यूट्रिशियस फूड एंड वाटर फॉर द चिल्ड्रन. Then there is mandatory registration if a child is involved in such in entertainment industries. तो जो वहाँ का district magistrate है उसके पास registration होनी चाहिए. They need to be registered with the district magistrate. Inclusion of different acts protecting children. So जितने भी acts थे with respect to child labor, with respect to juvenile justice, all have been included and सबके provisions in guidelines के अंदर incorporate किए गए हैं to ensure the best conditions for working children. What are the prohibited activities? See, earlier in the past decade we have seen children smoking have been seen in many movies and series, or taking alcohol, or involved in pornography or sexual activities. So all that has been banned. Children cannot be shown imbibing alcohol, smoking or using any other substance, or shown to be indulging in any sort of anti-social activity. Further, no child can be engaged in any situation involving nudity. So this is very important. Some of the daily soaps did involve children in nudity for a very long time, but now this cannot happen. Otherwise, penal provisions भी हैं. Salary related norms. So earlier जो भी बच्चों के entertainment industry में काम करने से पैसे आते थे, they used to go to the parent or guardian. Now it has been established that whatever that particular child is earning, 20% of that will go to a fixed deposit. और ये fixed deposit के पैसे उस बच्चे को कब मिलेंगे? When he or she turns 18, when he attains majority. So before that, this money cannot be used. So this is all for the day. We've completed 2 topics. Yesterday also a topic was discussed with regards to children. Today also we've discussed 2 topics with regards to trafficking and children. Now go back to the link in the description. It will be there in the description very soon. And go back to our website, answer the question for Seize the Mains. Now we have studied human trafficking in detail. This question को answer करना बहुत simple, बहुत आसान हो जाएगा. Just 250 words. Put your answers there in the comment section, and a discussion for this question will be held on Monday at 9 p.m. But upload your answers before that so that we can check them as soon as possible. All the best, and if there are any doubts, just let me know in the comment section or give me a thumbs up and we'll end this session. Thanks to you also, Bhavna, for being an audience. I hope everything is clear. Yes, Rishi. Yes, Bittu, Navi. Nandini. So if there are any doubts, just let me know that and we'll end the session. So the average viewership of our weekly current affairs on a daily basis in 24 hours is 1000 viewers. So out of 1000, I am expecting at least 100 answers in the next 24 hours. Go back, write the answer, post it on our website. It's very simple. Just write your answer on any sheet, post pictures there, and so that we can evaluate your answers and you can grow with us and you can make it to the finalist as soon as possible. So I think the topics are clear. I'm not getting any doubts. All the best to you. I'll see you today at 9 p.m. for Seize the Main session, and again this weekly current affairs will be taken tomorrow by another teacher. Take care. Keep working hard.